Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com editor. You had this appeal process going on with Jonathan Vilma, and Vilma's been tweeting out that, hey, the haters are out there this morning. How are you going to feel when I win this thing? What exactly is going on with this appeal process with Vilma and the Saints and the commissioner?
Well, what they're trying to do, now they have a silver bullet argument that, and it gets complicated, but the long and the short of it is, under the new labor deal, the players are arguing that anything they did that would have violated any rules or policies before August 4, 2011, they're absolved from it. They can't be disciplined. I don't know that that's going to work. I think they're being a little too broad. But if they're right on that, all the players are in the clear. Nobody can be disciplined. But the primary bulk of this, Dan, is an effort to push the appeal process away from the commissioner. So he's not the judge, jury, and executioner. So there's a separate set of eyes that looks at the decision, that looks at the evidence. And that's really what this is all about, getting to the evidence that for whatever reason the NFL has declined to give to the players, declined to make available to the public.
But the New York Times hinted that maybe they'd start leaking out some of this information, some of the evidence here with the Saints and Jonathan Vilma. Is that a possibility?
I think it's a possibility. Now, there are conditions that apparently would apply, like they black out everybody's name so you really don't know who it is that supplied the evidence. And I think the NFL is just being too sensitive to the idea of protecting whoever blew the whistle. There's a difference between a whistleblower and a witness. And after the NFL began to pursue this thing, the NFL picked up a lot of evidence from a lot of people. They always talk about the 50,000 documents, and I'm sure they have recorded interviews and statements. And why not tell us what Greg Williams, the former Saints defensive coordinator, said about Jonathan Vilma's involvement in establishing the bounty pool, about who got paid, about who contributed money, about whether there was any misunderstanding at all, that this wasn't just for interceptions and fumbles. This was knocking guys out of games. And I'm sure Greg Williams has said something on that topic, and there's no reason to protect Greg Williams from any type of retaliation or scrutiny. He supposedly has confessed, and at some point they just need to tell us what these guys like Williams and Sean Payton and Joe Vitt have said.
Tell me what's going on with the Jets in this. I don't know if it's a game plan. I don't know if it's scripted, but it seems like everybody's going out of their way to talk about Tim Tebow and gushing about Tim Tebow. His quarterback's coach, Matt Cavanaugh, gushing about his form or whatever. Darrelle Revis gushing about it. We've heard nothing about Mark Sanchez whatsoever in his development or him off-season. What's going on here with the Jets?
Well, and actually, before Cavanaugh gushed about Tebow, a day or two before that, Matt Cavanaugh said that Mark Sanchez made some poor decisions last year, and they need to get past that. And this all comes back to, and Jay Glazer calls it, football Ritalin for Sanchez, having Tim Tebow there. It keeps Sanchez focused week in and week out, and that's the Jets' biggest concern about Sanchez. They know he's capable of playing at a very high level, but for whatever reason, week in and week out, he doesn't focus. He doesn't make good decisions. He doesn't achieve that high level of performance because he never really believed that he was going to get benched for Mark Brunell. Yeah, they take first-team practice reps away from Sanchez every once in a while to get his attention, but yeah, he realized they're not going to put Brunell in the game. Well, now Tebow's there. Sanchez realizes, you know what, if I don't play at the level they want me to play, they're going to put Tebow in. They're going to leave Tebow in. So the thinking is you're either going to get Sanchez to where he needs to be or you do pull him off to the side and you let Tebow go do his thing.
Who's the favorite for Hard Knocks? I know the Redskins said no. A couple other teams have turned them down. It seems like the teams that they want don't need them, and the teams that would love to have Hard Knocks, Hard Knocks doesn't want them.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to have to be, Dan, one of these teams that none of us really, frankly, want to see. And I don't mean that, well, I guess I do mean respectfully to the Jaguars or the Texans. But, we want teams with national storylines, especially this year. With all the crazy stories that have dominated the coverage, how can we go in depth on any other team other than one of the teams that's been at the front of the pack, the Jets, the Saints, the Colts, the Broncos, the Redskins? You want those teams because there's a disconnect otherwise. They have driven, just a small handful of teams have driven the coverage and the discussion. You can't just pull out some other team that we haven't been talking about or thinking about and expect people to make it appointment viewing. I mean, there are people who watch it because it's on TV and the media will have to watch it and some of the fans will watch it, but it's not going to be something that draws you to HBO whenever they televise it.
Who would be your number one pick?
Probably the Saints. With everything that's going on, I think it would be fascinating. But the Jets are going to have the most appeal. I mean, with Tebow is going to draw in the people out there who only follow football in the most casual sense possible, who only watch it on Super Sunday, Tebow's got that name that crosses over, and I think that would be the top of the list for HBO and NFL films, but the Jets apparently aren't going to do it.
Before I let you go, Drew Brees, contract status, what kind of money is he looking for? How far off the two parties?
Well, he can get $16.37 million for 2012 with the stroke of a pen anytime he wants. And, I've heard that he wants $21, $22, $23 million a year. At a certain point, it's cheaper for the Saints to just go year to year under the franchise tag. 19 to $21 million over the first 3 years, that's what everybody's saying. Now, Brees has said the numbers that are out there are a little high. Well, they can't be all that much higher than $16.3 million a year because that's what he can get right now. And I think Brees is frustrated by the fact that the Saints don't have the same sense of urgency that he does to get this done, because next week the organized team activities start. You got to get ready for the season by delving in fully into the off-season program. I think he wants to do it, but he doesn't want to do it for anything less than what he's looking for.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate your time.
All right, buddy.
Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com.